For centuries, humans have been using substances to alter their state of mind, from caffeine, cigarettes, and alcohol to more extreme drugs. But as the most commonly used illicit drug in North America, where does marijuana fit in, and how exactly does it affect your brain? First, we need to understand how the brain functions. Your neurons are the cells that process information in the brain. By releasing chemicals called neurotransmitters from the axon of one neuron to the dendrite of another, they change the electrical charge of the receiving neuron, consequently exciting or inhibiting it. If excited, the signal is passed on. Though it sounds simple, these signals work together and the effect is quickly compounded into complex configurations within milliseconds, flushing over the entire brain. This is what happens every single time you think, breathe, or move. So what's going on inside your brain when you're smoking marijuana? Well, unlike alcohol, which contains molecules nothing like those in our body, cannabis contains molecules that resemble those produced in our very own brains, cannabinoids. Though naturally these cannabinoids circulate in much lower quantities compared to the large influx imposed by smoking. Specifically, the chemical tetrahydrocannabinol, or THC, resembles a natural transmitter called anandamide. These cannabinoids are specialized neurotransmitters released by neurons having just fired. Neurons temporarily become unresponsive after firing to prevent them from overreacting or being too dominant. This allows your brain to function in a calm and controlled manner, but cannabinoids interrupt this approach in some parts of the brain. Instead, they remove the refractory period of neurons that are already active and cause your thoughts, imagination, and perception to utterly magnify itself. This means once you begin your train of thought, it becomes the most significant and profound thing ever. You can't see the big picture or even recall your last epiphany because you're caught up in the momentum of a particular idea, and your neurons keep firing until a new idea takes hold and you go off on a new tangent. These cannabinoids also affect the levels of dopamine and norepinephrine in your brain, often leading to a sense of euphoria, relaxation, pain modulation, and general enhancement of an experience, though sometimes causing anxiety. Furthermore, there are cannabinoid receptors in areas controlling short-term memory, learning, coordination, movement control, and higher cognitive functions.
Got a burning question you want answered? Ask it in the comments or on Facebook and Twitter, and subscribe for more weekly science videos.
But with weed, too much is 1,500 pounds in 15 minutes. So that's 1,500 pounds multiplied by 16 ounces, 24,000 ounces, 84 joints per ounce. That's 2 million joints, 2 million divided by 15, 134,000 joints per minute for 15 minutes to overdose on marijuana. Yet somehow, in the federal government's eyes, marijuana and opioids are considered equally dangerous and addictive. And that's in spite of the fact that heroin overdoses have reached epidemic levels. Marijuana overdoses have remained stable. 0. Why is that? Because your brain reacts to every drug differently. When you take opioids, those chemicals mess with parts of the brain that are responsible for things like heart rate and breathing. Take too much and your breathing's gonna slow down until you fall asleep and never wake up. Weed does not work like that. And that's because weed doesn't touch the part of your brain that controls breathing. But you do have things called cannabinoid receptors in other parts of the brain. That's why when you smoke, you experience things like hunger, mood changes, or short-term memory loss. Any drug is toxic if you take too much. But with weed, too much is 1,500 pounds in 15 minutes. So that's 1,500 pounds multiplied by 16 ounces, 24,000 ounces, 84 joints per ounce. That's 2 million joints, 2 million divided by 15, 134,000 joints per minute for 15 minutes to overdose on marijuana. Yet somehow, in the federal government's eyes, marijuana and opioids are considered equally dangerous and addictive. And that's in spite of the fact that heroin overdoses have reached epidemic levels. Marijuana overdoses have remained stable. 0. Why is that? Because your brain reacts to every drug differently. When you take opioids, those chemicals mess with parts of the brain that are responsible for things like heart rate and breathing. Take too much and your breathing's gonna slow down until you fall asleep and never wake up. Weed does not work like that. And that's because weed doesn't touch the part of your brain that controls breathing. But you do have things called cannabinoid receptors in other parts of the brain. That's why when you smoke, you experience things like hunger, mood changes, or...
Is this thing on? Word. So what, we get drunk. So what, we smoke weed.
I think medical marijuana should be legalized. You know, there are people with certain medical conditions that not really forces, but it would help them a lot to have medical marijuana and to deal with their condition.
I think medical marijuana should be legalized because it's the better help for people, and I think it's just to help them focus on something like their diseases or mental health.
My opinion on medical marijuana is that it should be legalized. I think that if a person needs marijuana for a medical reason. They should be able to have it.
And recreational, well, like many things in life, recreational marijuana should be taken in moderation. You know, like drinking, like I don't know, whatever it is, like it should just be taken in moderation. You know, like if you're just smoking weed all day, 420 every day, that's your life. Maybe that's not the way, but you know, if you take it once in a while, you know, just as on occasion, I think that should be alright.
On recreational, I don't think it's bad. If we get a lot of cigarettes that like hurt our lungs, then why should we like worry about marijuana that does the same thing? It probably affects a little bit of your lungs, but I think it like helps people's mental health, because there's some people who have depression and use it as in like getting away from the pain that they have, even though they can just get help from therapy. But therapists also like suggest to get legalized marijuana to help.
Marijuana should be illegal because some people just use it to get high or whatever. But in medical use, people need it.
Okay.
But if you're just going to use it just to use it, you shouldn't be able to use it.
Oh.
I think the stigmas on people who use marijuana are that they're potheads, or they just smoke weed all day, or they're lazy. And there are definitely some people that are like that, but like any other stereotypes, it doesn't just apply to everyone. You know, I have friends that smoke weed. One's going to an Ivy, one's into political science, one wants to be a psychologist. You know, it's just a stereotype. You know, there are definitely some people who, you know, just do that all day, but there are also, you know, very successful people that you don't even know that smoke weed.
People think it's just like it's a bad thing, and it's just like it's just for. Personally, my dad thinks it's just for like stupid people, and it's really not. There's some people who really use it for good purposes, and some people who just use it for like funny things, like, and then also using marijuana with other substances that can kill them.
I think that these stereotypes are in place because those are the people that are open about weed. You know, like the stereotypical pothead user. You know, those are the people that talk about weed. But the people that don't actually use it, maybe like, for example, like my friends that are going to like Ivy's, political science, psychologists, they're not too open about it. They you know, they keep it, you know, like DL. You know, they yeah.
Because mostly, I think it's because they see it towards like young black men who uses it, instead of like other people, men's, like white men's or females.
Why do you take marijuana?
I have nothing else better to be honest. Well, that's really it.
That's it? Okay.
Kills time.
How has it helped you? Or has it helped you?
Well, it's helped me realize the serenity of the world. It's really peaceful and all. So, you know.
How do you feel when you take it?
At peace. I get really quiet. Just see the world around me.
Do you recommend it to others?
If you have time for it, go ahead.
Why do you take marijuana?
I take it because it's fun, it helps me relax. Everyone just has different lifestyle choices, so I just choose to do this.
Has it helped you?
Yeah, definitely. I have anxiety, so it helps calm me down. Sometimes it's just fun to do with your friends.
How do you feel when you take it?
I feel pretty good. Just kind of relaxed. I don't know, it depends on the day. I don't really let it tie into how I feel.
Do you recommend it to others?
Not necessarily. I would just recommend that you do your research, and it's not always for everybody, so to each his own pretty much.
So, you said you used to take marijuana, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me about that. A little bit, like your experiences. Were they good or bad?
Well, the first time that I used it, it was more like I wanted to try something new. And so at first it was just like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I'm gonna try something new.
Why'd you continue after the first time?
it was kind of like an escape, I guess. It was more like an escape from like reality. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Cause like, you know, when like you deal with a lot of stress and it's like you don't know how to like deal with, rather than like self-harming and stuff like that, it's like I'd rather
That was your escape.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. So it has helped you.
In a way, yeah, it has helped me, but at the same time, the consequence of like, doing it, I had really bad memory. Like I had short-term memory loss. And really bad paranoia.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So is that why you stopped taking it?
Basically, yeah. And cause I wanted to start working,
okay.
and so I wanted to be clean and like start working.
Okay. So my final question is, do you recommend it to others?
No, honestly, no. Yeah, I don't recommend anyone to do. Like, I wasn't addicted to it, but I know that others like have been addicted to it, and it proceeds to like worse drugs, like, you know, like cocaine and heroin.
Okay.
And so like that didn't happen to me, but it happens to others, so I don't recommend people starting weed.
I originally started smoking weed because I had a lot of trouble falling asleep at night, and melatonin didn't work, and it was the only thing that could actually like help me out. When I smoke, I get relaxed, feel happy, and just enjoy life a bit more.
Do you recommend it to others?
I would highly recommend it to others, but I'd say before you smoke, do your research first and see what all the different chemicals do and how they would react for you.
Is this thing on? Word. So what, we get drunk. So what, we smoke weed. We're just having fun.